Mythology is everywhere in anime. If you're a native English speaker, you'll immediately recognize the Arthurian Legends portrayed in Fate's Stay Night, Lelouch of the Rebellion, Frieren, and most recently, The Beginning After the End. It's the same with references to Dante's Inferno. You'll feel it in direct references, like in Fullmetal Alchemist or Seven Deadly Sins, and in thematic references, like Made in Abyss. It doesn't stop in English literature. You'll also recognize the Greco-Roman Pantheon in Record of Ragnarok, Blood of Zeus, and hints in shows like Tsukimichi. Or you'll see Norse mythology in Vinland Saga and Attack on Titan. I could go on and on, pulling in different mythological origins and their placement into anime you've seen, but there's one body of folklore that shapes anime more than any other: Japan's own yokai. Yokai is a catch-all term. It includes mischievous spirits, powerful demons, and all sorts of strange and wonderful supernatural creatures found in Japanese folklore. Yokai is written with kanji that mean bewitching and mystery, capturing their essence. And trust me, once you know what to look for, you'll start seeing their fingerprints everywhere in anime. This isn't just about spotting obvious monsters, though. It's about understanding the archetypes, the core ideas and traits that these yokai represent. My goal is to equip you with a kind of yokai-spotting toolkit. That way you can get that awesome feeling when you recognize their influence in a character. There are literally thousands of different yokai recorded across Japan's history, so we obviously can't cover them all. Instead, I'll focus on a few of the most common ones. And since we're limiting our list, if you've got a favorite yokai that I missed, leave a comment down below. I'll read through them all and pin my favorite one. Together, we should be able to make a pretty good list. Let's start with one of the most globally recognized yokai, thanks to its prevalence in pop culture, the Kitsune. The Kitsune is a magical fox. There are holy foxes, tasked as messengers of the gods and guardians against evil spirits, and there are wild foxes, who make mischief at every opportunity. The Kitsune in folktales can usually shapeshift, and they're almost always extremely intelligent. Generally, Kitsune will gain tails, as many as 9, as they become older and more powerful. And when you think of a powerful, multi-tailed fox in anime, who comes to mind? For many, it's obviously Kurama, the 9-tailed fox from Naruto. He's a perfect example of the Kitsune's immense power and sometimes fearsome nature. Or perhaps the cunning Yoko Kurama from Yu Yu Hakusho, who is literally an ancient fox demon reincarnated. But for most of our yokai, the most accurate portrayal in anime will come from Nura, Rise of the Yokai Clan, a short but wonderful anime about family, loyalty, and top-tier aura farming. In Nura, the main antagonist is Hagoromo Gitsune, a terrifying and very evil kitsune. But don't just think that yokai are portrayed as characters in anime. The idea behind learning the archetypes is to spot them in more subtle usage. On a more metaphorical level, the fox warding mass in Demon Slayer are a representation of kitsune. Sabito and Makomo act as holy fox kitsune in the story, serving as protectors and messengers of the gods. Quick pause. If you're fascinated by understanding the Japanese culture behind epic anime moments like these, and you want to learn to watch anime without subtitles, you should check out Fluyo. It's an RPG language learning game where you bond with your dolphin companion, explore, battle, and learn Japanese naturally through gameplay. It's designed for people like us who find traditional language learning methods a bit dry. Fluyo was the highest funded app ever on Kickstarter for a reason, and it makes learning feel like an adventure. Link in the description. Rivaling the Kitsune in popularity is the Tanuki, the magical raccoon dog. Not only are they cute, they're known for shape-shifting, high intelligence, and playful trickery. Yokai Tanuki are also equipped with a special set of, tools that they can use as almost anything they need. The best representation of these tools in action is probably in Studio Ghibli's Poko, a film focused on Tanuki. In Nura, the ancient and powerful Inugamigyōbu Tanuki is a Tanuki. Notice his, tools. Luckily, in Naruto, we're spared seeing the one-tail Shukaku represented with those, tools. You can also find a Tanuki in Animal Crossing, Tom Nook, the shopkeep. Generally, a Tanuki-like character will have a big hat, big eyes, a big belly, a big smile, and often a big drinking habit. They're usually smart and dependable, if a little odd. Alright, our next yokai is often seen as proud, fearsome guardians and skilled warriors, the Tengu. Originally, they were depicted as more bird-like, often called Karasu Tengu or Crow Tengu, with beaks and wings. However, over time, another image became prominent, the Yamabushi Tengu, who looks more human but with an exceptionally long nose, often dressed as a mountain sage. The Tengu are usually great martial artists, prideful to a fault, reclusive, and sometimes teachers. That iconic red, long-nosed mask you often see is a direct representation of the Yamabushi Tengu. In One Piece, we meet Tengu Yamahitetsu, a swordsmith from Wano country. His name and his distinctive long nose are direct visual cues linking him to Tengu folklore, fitting his role as a craftsman and a figure of tradition. And of course, returning to Nura, we see Karasu Tengu and his family, who serve the protagonist. They perfectly embody the nature of this type of Tengu. Although he's based on a different mythological tale, in Naruto, Jiraiya's appearance and personality pull heavily from the Yamabushi Tengu mountain sage. Next up is the water yokai, the kappa. Kappa are one of Japan's most famous water yokai. They're typically depicted as green, child-sized humanoids with webbed hands and feet, a turtle-like shell on their back, and a very distinct feature, a dish or bowl called a sara on top of their head. This sara must be kept filled with water, as it's the source of their power when on land. Kappa are known for their love of cucumbers, sumo wrestling, and, unfortunately, sometimes for drowning people. Despite their dangerous side, folklore also portrays them as being obsessed with politeness. If you bow to a kappa, it will often bow back, spilling the water from its sara and weakening it. In Nura, you'll see a straightforward depiction of a kappa. The kappa is often seen near water and displaying their known traits. Now, for a more inspired take, consider Suyo Asui or Froppy from My Hero Academia. While not literally a kappa, her green, frog-like appearance, amphibious abilities, her long tongue attack, and comfort in water definitely give her a design and skill set that echoes the aquatic, sometimes mischievous nature of the kappa, even if she's far more heroic. Leaving wild yokai, let's turn to a more domestic one, the nekomata. Nekomata are a type of bakeneko, or supernatural cat. The most distinguishing feature of a nekomata is its split or forked tail, which it gains as it ages and amasses power. These aren't your average lap cats. Nekomata are said to possess strong magical abilities, including shape-shifting, speaking human languages, animating the dead, or even summoning ghostly fireballs. They can be benevolent, loyal companions, or vengeful and dangerous, depending on how they were treated in life. A great example is Kuro from Blue Exorcist. His design with two distinct tails and powerful abilities strongly evokes the nekomata. He's fiercely loyal, but also immensely powerful when provoked. Another classic is Kirara from Inuyasha. This adorable, tiny kitten can transform into a massive, flaming, saber-toothed cat yokai with two distinct tails, a clear nekomata visual and power set. And for the first time, Pokemon. While many Pokemon are based on yokai, Espeon, with its feline grace, psychic powers, and forked tail, definitely embodies the nekomata's traits. Now for a more human-like yokai, you'll recognize everywhere the Yuki Ona. The Yuki Ona is one of the most iconic Japanese yokai, a spirit almost synonymous with harsh, snowy winters. She's typically depicted as an ethereal, beautiful woman with long black hair, striking eyes, and unnaturally pale, almost translucent skin that blends with the snowscape. She floats rather than walks, leaving no footprints. While captivating, she's incredibly dangerous, often leading travelers astray in snowstorms, or using her icy breath to freeze them solid. However, some tales also portray a more tragic side, where a Yuki Ona might fall in love with a human, sometimes even marrying and having a family. Though such stories rarely end happily if her true nature is revealed or a promise is broken. In Nura, we see an excellent portrayal of a Yuki Ona character in Tsurara Oikoa, who is fiercely loyal and embodies many of the classic snow spirit traits, including creating ice and a constant cool aura. Yukina from Yu Yu Hakusho is an ice maiden Yuki Ona. And for a more symbolic representation, look at Rukia Kuchiki from Bleach. Her Zanpakuto is renowned as one of the most beautiful ice-type swords. Its attacks evoke the grace and deadly chill of the Yuki Ona, culminating in her Bankai, which even changes her appearance to match the ethereal beauty of the Yuki Ona. The aesthetics and power set are a clear nod to the classic yokai. From a beautiful, human-like yokai to the farthest thing from it, let's talk about the Suko Moami. According to folklore, when an ordinary household object, like an umbrella, a musical instrument, or even a set of tools, reaches its 100th birthday, it can acquire a spirit and come to life. Whether these Suko Moami are benevolent, mischievous, or outright vengeful often depends on how they were treated by their owners during their century of service. Neglected or discarded items are much more likely to harbor a grudge. The cursed objects in Jujutsu Kaisen are items imbued with immense curse energy that can house spirits or exert their own will. It's a modern, darker twist on objects gaining supernatural agency. Perhaps one of the most direct representations of the concept comes from Bleach with the Zanpakuto. The swords aren't just weapons. Each one has its own unique spirit and personality, shaped by its partner's care, truly embodying the ideas behind Suko Moami. Now, let's go over to the Jorogumo. The Jorogumo is a truly unsettling yokai. Legend says that when a spider lives for many hundreds of years, it can gain magical powers, including the ability to shapeshift into a stunningly beautiful woman. She uses this disguise to lure unsuspecting men into her web, where she then ensnares and devours them. The Jorogumo is a master of deception, often playing a lute or biwa to attract her victims. We see a terrifyingly direct interpretation in Demon Slayer with the spider demon family of Mount Natagumo. The spiders use their threads to control others and embody the deadly, manipulative nature of the Jorogumo. In One Piece, Black Maria of the Beast Pirates can transform into a hybrid form based on an ancient spider. She uses her webs to trap her enemies and has a seductive, dangerous persona, luring her opponents into her brothel before attacking, perfectly echoing the Jorogumo's predatory tactics. The themes of monstrous spiders with dangerous, captivating feminine aspects also appear in the world of Dororo through the Ohagi, an enemy based directly on the Jorogumo. More metaphorically, the Jorogumo is represented by a beautiful woman who lures characters into her schemes and traps. Next, the Yamada no Orochi is an absolutely epic figure. Described in ancient texts, this creature was an enormous spirit with 8 heads and 8 tails, its body long enough to cover 8 valleys and 8 hills. It demanded sacrifices of young maidens until it was tricked with sake and slain. The Orochi often symbolizes overwhelming disaster, primordial chaos, or powerful local deities that must be overcome. The influence of Yamada no Orochi is clear in Naruto with Orochimaru. His name, his snake-like appearance, and his jutsu, his summon manda, and especially his 8 branches technique where he transforms into a massive 8-headed white serpent, are all direct references to the Yamada no Orochi. Similarly, in One Piece, Kurozumi Orochi, the former shogun of Wano country, transforms into an 8-headed serpent, mirroring the legendary beast in both form and tyrannical nature. Let's shift to a yokai that's all about swift and unseen attacks, a whirlwind of blades known as the Kama Itachi. The Kama Itachi is a fascinating yokai, often associated with whirlwinds or sudden, sharp gusts of wind. They're said to be weasel-like creatures armed with sickle-sharp claws, moving so incredibly fast that they're usually invisible to the naked eye. Folklore often describes them as working in threes. The first Kama Itachi knocks a person down, the second slices them with its claws, and the third applies a medicine that heals the wounds instantly? So the victim feels no pain, but is left with deep, clean cuts they can't explain. It's a strange mix of harm and an odd sort of care? In Naruto, Tamari's wind-based attacks with her giant fan are often accompanied by her summon, Kamatari, a one-eyed weasel wielding a large sickle. A very direct and powerful homage to this yokai. Dororo also features a fierce Kama Itachi as one of the demons Hyakimaru must overcome. And in the world of Pokemon, Sneasel and its evolution Weevil strongly evoke the Kama Itachi. Now, let's explore a yokai deeply entwined with families, loyalty, and sometimes dark sorcery, the Inugami. Inugami are powerful dog spirits, often bound as familiars to a particular family or sorcerer, known as an Inugami mochi. The methods of creating an Inugami in folklore are often quite gruesome, said to involve dark rituals that imbue the spirit with potent magical power. Once bound, an Inugami grants its owner great prosperity and protection, but can also be used to inflict terrible curses on enemies. They embody a powerful duality, fierce loyalty to their masters, but a dangerous, potentially uncontrollable force if mishandled, or if their master has ill intentions. In Inuyasha himself immediately comes to mind. He's a half-dog demon, and his name literally means dog spirit. His canine features, incredible senses, fierce loyalty, and protective instincts clearly draw from the powerful dog spirit archetype. In Jujutsu Kaisen, Megami Fushiguro's divine dogs, Shikigami, are a fantastic modern take. Loyal spirit wolves he summons for combat, embodying that familiar master bond. And then there's Pochita from Chainsaw Man. Pochita's dog form, his unwavering loyalty to Denji, and the immense power he grants him by becoming his heart strongly echo the core themes of an Inugami. Next, the Kuchisake Ona is one of Japan's most infamous modern urban legends, though her tale has roots going back centuries. The story usually goes like this. A person, often walking alone at night, is confronted by a woman wearing a surgical mask. Not uncommon in Japan. She'll ask, "Watashi kirei?" or "Am I pretty?" If you say no, she kills you, often with a large pair of scissors or a sickle. If you say yes, she removes her mask to reveal her mouth, horribly slit from ear to ear, and asks again, "Kore demo?" Even like this? If you answer no or scream, she kills you. If you say yes again, she'll slit your mouth to resemble hers. There are many supposed ways to escape her, but her chilling question and horrifying appearance have cemented her place in modern folklore. Jujutsu Kaisen 0 features a cursed spirit that is a direct, terrifying portrayal of the Kuchisake Ona, complete with her signature question and deadly intent. In Mob Psycho 100, the urban legend spirit known as the Dragger is also a Kuchisake Ona. For our last yokai, let's go big or go home with a yokai of truly colossal proportions, the Gasha Dokuro. The Gasha Dokuro is a giant skeleton said to be 15 times taller than an average person. It's formed from the collected bones of people who died from starvation or in battle without proper burial rites. Fueled by their anger and regret, these bones gather together to create this massive, terrifying entity. It's said to roam the countryside late at night, its teeth chattering and bones rattling, hence its name. If it spots a human, it will silently creep up, grab them, and bite their head off. Its sheer size and invulnerability make it an incredibly fearsome yokai. In One Piece, the ancient giant Oars evokes the Gasha Dokuro's terrifying scale and somewhat skeletal, zombie-like appearance. For a direct depiction, Nura showcases a formidable Gasha Dokuro as one of the major yokai threats. A towering skeleton monster that perfectly embodies the legend. Keep an eye out for giant amalgamations or giants with skeletal iconography to spot Gasha Dokuro. Using these archetypes, and a few more sure to be shared in the comments below, you'll start finding yokai in all your favorite anime. It's not always about a perfect match, but about recognizing those core archetypal traits, the visual clues, the behaviors, and the symbolic meanings. If you enjoyed learning about these yokai, please share this video with someone you think will enjoy it. It helps a ton. If you want a full list of characters and anime referenced, you can find it in the description. See you next time.